Hi guys, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Hey guys, hi Alexa.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. Okay, so the lighting is not very good, and wow. Sorry about this appearance, you all. I'm on my phone, so hopefully it'll work. Okay, I'm still having trouble with my audio on my computer for some reason. So, anyways, Alexa, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited about today's training because I, as you know, Alexa, don't know a ton about bullet journaling, but it sounds fun. So, I might just wait one more minute, 2 more minutes to make sure we're not just jumping the gun to get started. So everyone has an opportunity to hop on, but hopefully, yeah, it is recording. So I'll post the replay in all the groups later on today or tomorrow at the latest. So you guys, anyone who wasn't able to hop on can catch it, or if you need to hop off at any time, you can always catch the rest of it on the replay. Just to kind of kill some time for you all who are listening, we will be having a training. I'm bringing in a guest expert to train us on different topics through the next 6 weeks. So once a week, we will have a bonus training. And so we're starting off today with Alexa, who is going to be sharing about bullet journaling, which is going to be a really cool concept to track your habits. And a lot of you guys have heard me talk about habit tracking. And even those of you who are in VIP are reading Atomic Habits, which is where the whole habit concept came from. So that's awesome. But just to kind of give you a heads up, next week we will have Emily Field, who's a registered dietitian, and she's going to be speaking to us about macros. We're going to get more niche with that. It's not just going to be like a broad macro training, but we're going to kind of go through some of the biggest hurdles when it comes to what macronutrients are and how to track macros. And then on April 13th, we have a very special guest, Annie F. Downs. If you don't know her, you need to go figure out who she is because this is a big deal. She's a friend of mine. She is going to be sharing how she makes health and fitness fun. She is an author and just released a book, a New York bestseller author, if I said that right. But anyway, she just released a book called That Sounds Fun, and I've read it. I've listened to the audio book and it's really good. But she's going to be talking about how that kind of correlates with health and fitness and how that can help you all on your journey. And then moving forward, the following week, we're going to be hearing from Stacey Haga, who is also a registered dietitian, and she's also a Faster Way coach. And she's going to talk about gut health. So that one's going to be really great. And then we have 2 more. So we have a meal prep led by Jennifer Seiss in the next week, I think. And then the last one will be a hormone health training by Tessa Guarva. And you're going to love that. So she is so good at all things hormone health, especially for women. So these are going to be really fantastic trainings. Okay, I won't keep us too long. We'll go ahead and get started here. Thank you all so much for being here. And of course, at the end, if you have any questions for us, please feel free to ask. But first of all, let me just introduce Alexa. First and foremost, Alexa is incredible. She is on my team. You guys ask me all the time how I do all the things that I do. I don't. So I don't want to fool you. I have an incredible team who helps me in so many ways on the back end, and they don't get a lot of credit for that because you don't see them. But if you're seeing beautiful graphics from me, whether that's in our groups or on social media, or you have downloaded a free guide of mine, more than likely Alexa is the creative behind that. So she puts all those fun, beautiful things together for me. Thank the Lord. She does my emails, makes my emails super beautiful. So she is behind the scenes working really hard to make sure that you guys get some really incredible resources. And I'm so thankful for you, Alexa. But so why don't you, Alexa, tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, kind of thing, before we get started into talking about the bullet journaling.
Sweet. Well, thank you. I'm sure all of you know working with Lauren is a blast and a half. She just has such an incredible brain and so much information housed in your brain that, like, the honor to be able to take that information and make it beautiful and digestible and all of those things is just like the coolest. I learn every time I put together one of those guides. I like now know what my Starbucks order is and like all sorts of things just from working on this phenomenal team. So I'm honored to be able to help with that. But my name is Alexa. I'm a marketing strategist on the Olive Marie consulting team. I am a couple years out of undergrad and actually quit my job in the nonprofit sector to come work for female entrepreneurs because I just saw such incredible, Lauren was like one of the first to know. She like saw me 2 weeks before I quit my job. And it was just one of those opportunities that I saw to work with such incredible women doing things that were on their heart and like teaching such incredible things that I was like, I have to do this. So I've had the honor of creating or like putting together so many creative resources for these women. And that's kind of, I have a creative soul from my mom, who's a full-time dance teacher. She was just like creativity, crafting was like always in our blood growing up. And I'm also a planner. So the idea of creativity and planning coming together into one place was just, my ideal thing. So it's kind of where the idea of bullet journals, I have like my stack here. But it's where that idea and concept was born. And especially as we moved to the online space where planners kind of, made that shift to obsolete. I still use a paper planner, but I really needed something that would let me track or like do the things I wanted to. And no planner at the time was really doing that. So I found bullet journaling.
Okay, so I'll be honest with you guys, I've never bullet journaled. Can you guys tell me in the chat feature if you've ever done this technique and how that works for you? If you do it, I would love to know what you guys record. But I'm clueless to this. As a lot of you guys know, especially my VIPers, I love to track habits. And in fact, I carry around, well, I don't even know where it is right now, but oh yeah, here we go. So like tracking my habits, I will share with you all. Actually, it's already in your groups. If you click on the banner in your Facebook group, you can go to my habit tracker resource and download each and every month, and you can track all of your habits. But anyways, this is all I know. But I think that bullet journaling takes it to kind of a next level and makes it more fun and exciting for you guys, which I think is a fantastic way to kind of keep you all on track with your fitness and your nutrition goals, but also make it fun and exciting. So anytime we can add in fun, make this something that you enjoy doing, then that just makes your experience so much better. So, okay, Alexa, let's just like basic, what is bullet journaling? And then maybe tell us how that can be useful for us here, what you track, some of those things.
Love it. Yeah. Okay. So bullet journaling, what I'm going to tell you is you can find a ton of information about it on Pinterest. I'll tell you lots here. And I know that the second you're going to go Google it, you're going to see a ton of really beautiful images pop up of people who can draw like so well. And it's really intimidating. So what I'm going to tell you is anybody can do it. And you're going to see that and try and be scared. Don't do it. Know that anything that you put inside your journal is for you first and foremost. So I think about it as like a planner with a ton of detail. So I go by month. So a bullet journal allows you to create, again, this is a prettier month, but you go month by month. You can track things like your mood. And so it's a lot of like color coordinating, which again, I love because planning needs color and I'm in love. So like each of these pots is a different color, which coordinates with my mood that day. So being able to track, right? So starting the month with your mood, and then you can go into more detail. So this is kind of your traditional planner layout on a month by month basis with your habit tracker. So what Lauren showed you, I have mine on the side And at this time, so I was tracking my water, my workout, reading, and macros. So you can track anything you want to, but I really found it helpful that I can just put a little mark in the box when I did my workout or met my water goal that month. And then I was able to record just like little things. Would record what I did for my workout when I was in different, this is, right before COVID started. So this is 2020s. So this is like the last month we were traveling. But it's cool to kind of go back. And then finally, I would go into a little bit more detail. So what I did is writing down just a sentence or two per day. Again, you can make this anything you want it to. I wasn't the kind of long form journaler. Like I know a lot of people grab a journal and they just write and write and write. I didn't love that because I didn't always have the time to write a million things. So I would just write the highlights of my day. And it would just be like snippets. So like went here, did this, saw so-and-so. That way, by the end of a month, I kind of could go back and look at the mood page. I would see what days I had really, really good, like a great mood that day. So I was happy. And then I would go over and be like, what the heck happened that day? Figure out what happened. And then I was like, oh, I saw friends that day, or I did my workout that day and I'm way happier when I work out. And therefore I had a higher chance of being in a better mood that day. And it kind of, as the sciencey side of like building habits, it kind of let me know like what were the things that made me really happy and how could I engineer my days to fit those things so that I had a higher chance of having better days. So yeah, sciencey side of it. And then just like the pretty side of it, it let me like have a space where I could color and doodle and record and capture what was happening. Because, we have things like Instagram where I could go back and see what happened that day, but the space where I could really be raw, vulnerable, and myself, and go into as much or as little detail as I needed that day was something that I found really special. And then it really started because I wasn't drinking enough water. So to be like fully honest, I was like bullet journaling. I need a way to be like, how am I getting my water in that day? And I saw the habit trackers and was like, that's what I need. So you can go there, you go month by month. And then on top of that, you can have these things that they call catalogs, but they're really just special ways to say, what movies did I watch this year? So like little things of popcorn and you just put a movie in. I'm really cinematically challenged. So you can see that I actually did not watch a ton of movies last year or didn't record them. Or like for me, more likely is like, what books did I read or want to read? And I would put them all in one space and color them in as I read them. So the months are really important. And then the little catalogs.
Okay, I need to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So are you drawing all of that? That's like a plain journal that you have drawn in.
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a good drawer.
Thank you. Oh my God, it's so fun. You can find so many of them on Pinterest too. So like drawing them becomes so easy because it becomes easier over time. And if you're somebody who's like, I don't even want to attempt to draw what a popcorn looks like, you can just list things out. So it's like very much like choose your own adventure in a journal form.
That's okay. Got it. Okay. So yeah, I think that when initially, if I start doodling, it's going to look like my 4-year-old did it, but
Mhm.
do love creative outlet and just like also the, I don't know, it just kind of is a stress reliever to sit down and doodle or color. I find that to be fun. Even when I'm just sitting down and doing that with my kids. But yeah, I love this idea. I love that you have, I think the whole thing for me with habit tracking, whether you just are simply checking the box or if you are doing it in more of a journaling type way, the whole idea for me is that you get this data, you have consistent data for a whole month that you can look at and say, well, what did go well or what didn't. Maybe you can actually get down to the reasons why maybe you felt better on certain days or didn't feel or felt you felt really great one day, you didn't the other, or maybe it has something to do with the types of foods you're eating. Maybe it has something to do with exercise, your water intake, your sleep, all those things. So just having that data in front of you is really beneficial as you move forward in your health journey. So you can take that and say, all right, I need to do better in this area, or, oh my gosh, this is why I don't feel good, or this is why I need a cup of coffee in the afternoon, that kind of thing. So I think it's really cool. So how do you get started? Tell us where you said Pinterest, is that correct?
I did, yeah. So getting started, what I would tell you is that you can pick up any old journal. So if you're like me, I love to buy journals because they look beautiful, and then I use it for a minute, and then it just goes back on the bookshelf of all of the rest of my journals. So if you're looking to start this right away, I would say grab just any journal you have and play around and see what works for you. On the flip side, if you're like, I want to do this, I want to go gung-ho into it, the dotted journals are what I find really useful. They're really tiny dots, but they're really helpful for making straight lines. So I cannot make a straight line to save my life. So I find a journal, a ruler, and just a pen or pencil to get started with. So definitely start small. I recommend looking at your months. So you just draw a basic month into your journal, and then adding the little habit tracker on the side. If you're somebody who likes to get it done all in one sitting, you can draw out every single month, and I would recommend always leaving your habits empty until you get to that month. Mostly because if you start the year really strong and you're like, I'm going to track that I got 8 hours of sleep, and then you realize you don't need that, you do still need that. But, it's a poor example, but you decide later down the line, you don't want to track sleep, or maybe you've just gotten really good at it by the time you hit December and you don't need to track that anymore. If you already wrote it down, you're kind of stuck into that space of tracking it. Whereas if you leave it empty every month, it gives me a chance to sit down with my journal and say, what are my priorities this month? What did I struggle with? It kind of sets you up for a natural life audit. So I would just sit down and say, what did I struggle with last month? And then add that to the things that I needed to track. And I know Lauren has a whole list of really good habits that you can track. I can tell you from experience, I always needed to track my water. I always needed to track my workouts. I tried tracking my productivity once, and that's such a tricky thing because there's not a clear, I was productive. You can generally say when you're productive, but it's not necessarily something that has a clear black and white side to it, and then can make you really judgmental. So find the things that fit for you, and then adjust as you need to as you go into each month.
Yeah, that's great. I do love how you mentioned to me that you tracked your weights. So you guys in this program, if you are exercising, that's so beneficial to see that progressive overload that you are able to accomplish. And that's another way to measure your success through the faster way, through your journey, just in general. And being able to write that stuff down and see, okay, I've been using 10-pound weights for this many days or this many weeks. I think it's time to up that, and seeing that progressively, you're getting stronger. I think that's really cool. I love tracking water. For me, one of the things that I have to write down is my protein. That is on my habit tracker, hitting my protein goal. That really helps me to stay conscious of that. Also, just tracking macros in general. What else? Oh, no sweets is another big one. If I write that, check it off, I feel really good about it. And it just holds me accountable in a crazy way. I mean, it seems crazy that, these kinds of things work, but they do. And then over time, you might be tracking these very small, habits that you feel like don't add up to a lot, but when you put all of those together and you're tracking them all and doing all those things, then it really does add up. And eventually, it does become things that are just a natural part of your life, your daily life. So I love that. What else? Is there anything else that you track in your journal?
Let's see. I've done, yeah, here we go. I'm a very type A. So like with Kevin, my boyfriend and I, we like sat down and figured out what were all of the foods that we had to have in our house. So like down to the nitty gritty of like when we're stocking our fridge, like what are the foods we like to have? And so like having a list like this, we can always go back to it. And then from there, we made like a list of our top recipes that we just like any recipe. And we started with just like the titles so that it was like the fast recipes we could grab anytime. I then would like record smoothie recipes that I loved. And you can just like make these progressive lists that grow over the year. And then by the end of the year, you have this like ginormous list of recipes. And I've actually like torn it out of my bullet journal and put it right on our fridge so that like when we're like, what in the world are we going to eat tonight? We can go and find like our quick recipes list and be like, oh yeah, we did love making that. So like it can be as simple or as complex as you want.
I love that. Okay. So on that same note, this is one of the that I recommend for my clients. So I always try to incorporate my family in meal planning. So we sit down on Sunday, or we don't really sit down. Everybody's running crazy, but I'm like, hey, what do you want for dinner? Hey, try to catch them mid action. But anyways, I always get their input on what they want on the menu. And we have this master meal list. Okay. So, and you can find that on my blog if you all want to see mine, and then you can print out your own, or you can do it in your journal. But that's so nice whenever you're sitting down to plan your meals out for the week. It's like, you don't really have to search through cookbooks anymore once you've kind of gotten this list established, or you don't have to search Pinterest for hours, or just like sit there thinking like, what am I going to fix on Friday of next week? It's all kind of there for you, and everybody in the family loves it. So it's just a good, master list for you to go by. And then also to take that a step further, I try to think of meals that you can take from a low carb day and then easily transition into a regular macro day. So it's macro manipulatable, and write a good list of those down. You can also do that with snacks, so over time, as you go through the program, or, if you've been doing the program for a while and you just haven't been writing these things down, it's nice to kind of compile that master list of things that just make it easier down the road for you to hash out your meal plans or your grocery lists, that kind of thing. So I love that idea. Do you guys have any questions for Alexa and I regarding this topic?
I see one. Marianne's asking about what is a dotted journal. It's a great question. So if you go on Amazon, you can search just like literally dotted journal, or bullet journal. They're starting to get really to know what they are now. So they just have, rather than like lines, they just have dots. So you can also get them in grid patterns. That also works for making straight lines really easily. But yeah, you'll be able to find them just by searching for a dotted journal. Let me see. Yeah, I'm happy to let you know some like brands that I know that make them, but anything like your average Moleskine will have the dotted journals as part of their journal line.
Awesome. Thank you. It looks like most everyone who was on this call has not ever done this before. So I think it's interesting. It's a kind of newer concept for a lot of us, including myself. So awesome. Okay. So Alexa, please tell everyone here where they can find you, because you're such an inspiration, and all of your cute little graphics will be really helpful when everyone doodle. But also, I think you've got some good resources coming our way, even in the bullet journaling realm. So yeah.
Yeah, so you can find me over on Instagram. Lauren actually tagged me in her story earlier today. So if you follow Lauren, it's just alexa.c.donner. So you can find me on Instagram. I am working on my website tirelessly. I'm like, very much a perfectionist, which Lauren knows. So like, it's taking me a minute to like have it to a place that I love it, but I'll be putting out some really good resources on how to start, where to start. You can get like super in depth with these, and you can also keep it very high level. So definitely I'll have resources over there. And then on Pinterest, you can see I've put a bunch of my bullet journal layouts over there. So you're happy to use them in your journals, play around, doodle, let me know how they turn out.
Awesome. Okay. So thank you so much, Alexa, for being here. Thanks for everyone who is here with us. I think this is such a fun topic. And what we'll do is, Alexa, can we compile a few of those, details from today's training, just maybe a little recap with the replay. And we'll get that out to you all. We'll post it in the groups and email it out to you guys so you can catch it. And for sure, you don't want to miss next week's training. It should be really good with Emily Field. So, and the rest of the trainings are going to be awesome too. But anyways, thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate you sharing all of your knowledge on bullet journaling with us. And I guess that's it. Let's see if there's anything in the chat. Okay. Yeah, you welcome. Everybody's going to search Amazon now. So
They're so good.
thank you guys so much. I will let you go and have a wonderful day.
Awesome. See y'all later.
Alexa.
Thank you.